Two new boat arrivals off northwest Australia have plunged the asylum seeker debate into a new round of political mudslinging. As the government and the opposition accuse each other of being to blame for the arrivals, serious questions continue to be asked about human rights aspects of the government's Malaysia plan. From Canberra, here's our political correspondent, Tom Eagledon.
It's the issue the Prime Minister just can't shake.
Mr Abbott has made it clear that he is reckless about the national interest.
The destruction of her Malaysia solution has her pacing the hallways and blaming Tony Abbott.
He is terrified the Malaysia arrangement will work.
Mr Abbott's promising to vote down the Malaysia solution legislation, but says he's still for offshore processing.
We invented it, we've got the patent on it, but it's got to be the right offshore processing, not the wrong one.
Now the stakes have been raised in an all too familiar manner.
Of course, overnight, two vessels were interdicted by Customs and Border Protection.
Tonight, around 160 asylum seekers are being taken to Christmas Island. The government says they've come because people smugglers have heard the Malaysia solution's off.
Tony Abbott is the best friend people smugglers have ever had.
When he has said that he wants to stop the boats, that wasn't true. And whenever he says it in the future, it should never be taken as being true by the Australian people.
They are hysterical comments from an unhinged government that is deeply divided on this issue.
The hysteria is being fanned by both sides in this debate. They are both desperate to score political points.
In the middle of the debate today, the Commonwealth Ombudsman, who was giving evidence at an inquiry into the Malaysia deal, he's not satisfied by assurances that Malaysia will protect the human rights of children and victims of torture.
Those are all exceptionally vulnerable individuals, and it's in those areas in particular that we feel procedures need to be much more clearly elaborated and published.
And he says the government hasn't been forthcoming about how it would plan to deal with vulnerable people.
Despite several requests to see all of the documents, they haven't even now been provided to us.
The Ombudsman's office is also concerned the agreement with Malaysia isn't legally binding.
The issue of whether an agreement can result or interfere with, say, Malaysian judiciary's imposition of a penalty is not something that we're certain of.
A Labor senator wasn't happy with the apparent undermining of the government's policy.
But Mr Usher, isn't that a policy matter over which you've got no jurisdiction to comment?
But the Ombudsman says it's his duty to report on the issue.
And ensure that the immigration values adopted by the government and in pursuance of both Australian law and international obligations are fully respected.
Malaysia says not to worry.
We know the high standard that the Australians have with regards to refugees. We will certainly follow the bidding of what the Australian government wants.
But the minister admitted that asylum seekers sent from Australia could be caned if they break Malaysia's immigration laws.
We are thinking of dropping such punishment in future.
Caning or not, the Malaysia solution's all but a hypothetical now, and at some stage soon the government's going to have to decide how it moves on without it. Tom Eagledon, Lateline.